initially failed to recognize the risen Lord, thinking him to be the gardener. He noted that her mistake was not entirely misplaced, for Christ is the new man who makes the poor. Pointed to the message of Pope Francis, which highlights the need for a contemplative gaze that sees creation as a gift to be cherished rather than exploited. Without such care, he said, humanity becomes a destroyer rather than a custodian of the earth. The Catholic Church leader affirmed that Christian hope addresses modern challenges by returning spiritually to the garden where the crucified Christ was laid as a seed, rising again to bear abundant fruit. In this light, he said the Paschal mystery grounds a spirituality of integral ecology without which words of faith remain disconnected from reality and scientific insight fails to reach the human heart. He explained that Mary's turning around on Easter morning is a symbol of ongoing conversation, a passage that changes history by awakening public responsibility and activating solidarity that protects both people and creatures from harm. Through such conversion, the Holy Father said, Christians join millions of young people and people of goodwill who have already been moved by the cry of the poor and the earth. Concluding his catechist, Pope Leo prayed that the Holy Spirit would grant believers the ability to listen to the voice of those who have no voice. By embracing this task, he said the faithful will begin to see, even now, glimpses of the garden of paradise that awaits those who fulfill their vocation with courage and compassion.
Parliament has approved the government's plan to borrow 38 million euros, equivalent to over 76.3 billion Malawi kwacha, from the European Investment Bank to finance the second phase of the M1 road rehabilitation project. The bill authorizing the loan was passed with Finance Minister Joseph Mwanamveka, highlighting that the funding is crucial for continued rehabilitation works, particularly along the northern corridor of the M1. While supporting the bill, Malawi Congress Party MCP Finance spokesperson in Parliament, Peter Limba, urged the government to ensure the road's quality and thickness meet required standards. Robert Edward was at Parliament and reports.
The project sees the rehabilitation of the 347 kilometers of the road up to Chiweta and will include 66.5 kilometers of Kacheche to Chiweta and 46.5 kilometers of Jenda to Nzimba. Speaking in an interview, Minister of Finance says the loan also comes with a package of 20 million euros, about 40.1 billion Malawi kwacha grant.
Quite excited that we have two bills that have passed. The one for M1, which has been funded by the European Investment Bank, together with the African Union, and also we have passed the bill for Gender Town to do with water and sanitation. So I'm quite excited as a minister because these two projects are very, very important for Malawi and for those specific regions.
Parliament on Tuesday has also approved $27 million from OPEC Fund for International Development to finance implementation of gender water supply and sanitation project. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Government has expressed commitment towards strengthening security across the country following rising concerns that many people are keeping firearms without proper documentation. Minister of Homeland Security Peter Mukito made these remarks as questions continue to arise over the growing number of illegally owned guns believed to be contributing to increased crime rates. Emmanuel Shiwocha has filed this report.
Mukito said the government wants Malawians to live freely without fear, hence plans are underway to conduct a nationwide audit of all firearms kept in people's homes to ensure they are duly registered. He said, although Malawi is known as a peaceful nation with friendly citizens, earning the title, the warm heart of Africa, recent incidents of theft, robbery, and killings have raised alarm, prompting government action. According to the minister, authorities will soon issue a moratorium requiring all individuals carrying unregistered guns to surrender them for proper registration. Mukito further emphasized that the Firearms Act clearly states that all guns must be registered, and once the moratorium expires, anyone found possessing an unregistered firearm will be arrested and prosecuted.
Under the Firearms Act, there are regulations that stipulate the method of carrying a firearm. And as a government, we make sure that all the firearms are registered, they are duly registered, and those firearms that have not been duly registered will be issuing a moratorium. We will be requesting the holders of such firearms to bring them back to the Malawi Police Service. And I am asking that the members of the public must cooperate, because if you will be found with an unregistered gun, definitely the law will take its course.
Security expert Dr. Sherifu Kaisi has commended the government for its move to tighten security amid rising concerns about illegal firearms. He urged citizens who are keeping firearms without proper documentation to surrender them to the Malawi Police Service headquarters, cautioning failure to do so will result in facing the law and once the moratorium period expires.
In the first place, Malawians should really understand that holding any lethal weapon to the amount of firearms, I think it's unacceptable according to the laws of this country, because the Firearms Act is very, very clear that lethal weapon should only be found with people with authorization that they got through the proper channels, through the Malawi Police headquarters in Area 30 and endorsed by the President. Anything that is out of that spectrum, it is totally illegal and it's a crime according to the laws of this country.
Government says the firearms audit and the upcoming of moratorium are crucial steps towards reducing crime and maintaining Malawi's long-standing reputation as a peaceful nation. For Luntha News, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
Stakeholders have called for stronger implementation of policies, improved productivity, and targeted investment to reverse Malawi's widening trade deficit. This comes in reaction to the just launched inaugural Malawi Trade Report 2025, whose findings show that while the country has significant potential across agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and services, persistent inertia, underutilized policies, and poor export performance continue to undermine national growth and forex stability. Judith Organ has more details in this report.
In his remarks during the launch on Tuesday, Minister of Industrialization, Business, Trade and Tourism, George Patrick, noted that the report is a clear indicator that Malawi is failing to act on existing policies and opportunities. Patrick said although several laws and policy directions were introduced in 2024, implementation has been slow, leading to continued loss of foreign exchange and limited use of regional markets in SADC and COMSA. He stressed that the ministry will now adapt a result-oriented approach, ensuring that officers on the ground are accountable for delivering planned actions.
Well, it is a pointer. I think the information that you are seeing, it's a symptom that not all things are okay. And it's now a call for us to make sure that we act on the report. Okay, I think some of the pointers have been are in the report, and there are 4 of them. I will not enumerate all of them, but there are other things that are on the ground that are not being fully utilized. For example, the acts that the PS was saying they were enacted in 2024. I think these were policy directions, but what remains is now to implement them.
Export Development Fund, EDF, Board Chairperson Stednankoma said the report is designed to help Malawi understand what is going wrong and how to reposition itself on the global economic stage. He emphasized the need for the country to prioritize sectors where it has a comparative advantage, ramp up exports, substitute easily replaceable imports, and strengthening productivity in agriculture, mining, and services.
I think we should always remember that for progress to be made, we need to understand what is the problem. And this report, the purpose was to highlight the potential we have as a nation, but also where are we going wrong. Yeah, so to me, I wouldn't be too worried, but I would say, okay, how do we use these findings? So we appreciate that our friends from Chancellor College, Economic Department, and EDF, ourselves, we came together to come up with this report. The purpose is to inform the country how we are performing on the global stage.
Representing the private sector, FDH Financial Holdings Group CEO William Spinganjira said the report offers important direction for the financial sector by identifying areas with strong export potential.
I think from the financial sector, the report is quite informative because it shows us the growth areas that Malawi has potential in, and especially on the export side, which is very critical, obviously, for us in the financial sector as well, because financing, if we want to become more sustainable, we need to finance areas where that lead to more exports, and by respect, then we get the dollars, the rands, and whatever other currency, and we're able to sell on to our customers. So that tells us which areas, which industries to focus on in terms of financing.
By 2024, export had fallen by 7.1%, while imports hit about $3.3 billion, creating a trade deficit of about $2.4 billion. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Judith Ogan.
Remember that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center, and we'll be back with more right after the recap of the headlines. Pope Leo XIV urges the faithful to give voice to the voiceless. Government to borrow 76 billion Malawi kwacha for M1 continuing rehabilitation. Government moves to tighten security amid rising illegal firearm concerns. And in other news, gunmen attack church in Nigeria, killing 2 and kidnapping others. Proceeding with the news, the NCA-DCA Joint Country Program and the Malawi Girl Guides Association MAGA have held the positive shift in community attitudes toward gender-based violence in Doha District, urging stronger parental and institutional support to address the challenges girls continue to face. NCA General Secretary Anne Cecile Catterbourne praised MAGA's impressive impact in shifting community attitudes on gender-based violence, highlighting growing recognition of girls' rights and stronger male engagement in protection efforts. The General Secretary was speaking during the interface of MAGA, NCA-DCA, and girls of Mtuntama Primary School in the district. Gift Kalonga has more details in this report.
With support from NCA-DCA, the Malawi Girl Guides Association organized an interface meeting with girls, giving them an opportunity to openly share the challenges they face in their daily lives. Speaking with Luntha TV, NCA Secretary General Anne Cecile Catterbourne said she was deeply moved by MAGA's capacity and the impact of its work, noting that the community has significantly shifted its values around GBV. Catbone observed that girls are increasingly aware of their rights, while men and boys are taking on more positive roles in protecting and supporting them. She added that the work being carried out has a powerful amplifying effect, helping communities unlock their full potential, and stressing that empowering women, who make up half of the population, is crucial for national development. She emphasized that NCA's work has a powerful, far-reaching effect that helps community unlock their full potential.
Well, I think it's made an incredibly big impression on me to see the volume and the capacity that MAGA has. I've been a Girl Scout myself growing up, but the potential here and the work that they are doing is really impressive. Just from today, I'm able to see that this community has changed its values about gender-based violence, and I can see that both the female part of the population is realizing their rights, and the male part of the population has taken on the masculinity side of it, of protection and following up. And this goes for the chiefs today as well in this community in Doha, and that really impressed me.
MAGA Executive Director Mpaso Balua Jim said an interface with girls from Luntha Primary School revealed persistent challenges, including lack of parental and financial support. MAGA Executive Director Mpaso Balua Jim said an interface with girls from Luntha Primary School revealed persistent challenges, including lack of parental and financial support. She explained that conflicting instructions from parents and limited resources continue to hinder girls' education and well-being. Jim called for stronger structures within schools, such as parental-teacher associations and school management communities, to help address the issues. She added that ongoing initiatives, including parental care trainings and the SASA program, are part of civil society's broader efforts to combat gender-based violence and support vulnerable children, with assistance from NCA DCA.
So today, I would say I've had the privilege of interfacing with girls.
MAGA has since commended government for putting in place strong policies aimed at protecting the girl child from gender-based violence, but has stressed that the major gap lies in the enforcement of these policies. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has called on journalists to broaden their coverage of disaster issues by reporting across the entire disaster risk management DRM cycle, saying media practitioners play a critical role in strengthening national preparedness, response, recovery, and resilience. DODMA Public Relations Officer Shipiriro Kamula made the remarks on Tuesday when he closed a 2-day capacity building training for journalists on DRM communication and reporting, aimed at equipping media professionals with the knowledge and skills needed to effectively cover disaster-related matters. We have more details on this report filed by Charide Shilanga and read in our studios by Emmanuel Shiwocha. We apologize for not being able to give you that report. Moving on, in news from across the border, gunmen have attacked a church in Nigeria, killing at least 2 people and kidnapping the pastor and some worshippers. Police and witnesses said on Wednesday, days after 25 girls were abducted from a boarding school. The attack on Tuesday evening in the town of Eruku in central Nigeria puts more pressure on the government, which is under scrutiny from United States President Donald Trump, who has threatened military action over persecution of Christians. We have more details in this Reuters report read by Patrick Popper.
Nigeria is grappling with an Islamist insurgency in the northeast, abductions and killings by armed gangs mainly in the northwest, and deadly clashes between mainly Muslim headsmen and most Christian farmers in its central belt. In the latest attack, police responded to gunfire around 6 p.m. on Tuesday and discovered one person fatally shot inside the church and another in a nearby bush, said Adetom Ejire Adeyemi, police spokesperson for the local Kwara state. Witnesses said they counted at least 3 dead church members. A video posted by a local news outlet and verified by Reuters showed the Christ Apostolic Church service being interrupted by gunfire, forcing parishioners to scramble for cover. Armed men are seen entering and taking people's belongings as gunshots continue. Nigeria says the U.S. designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern misrepresents its complex security challenges and does not take into account its efforts to safeguard freedom of religion for all. Nigeria authorities are yet to locate the girls abducted on Monday after armed men stormed the government girls' comprehensive secondary school in northwestern Kebbi State. Nigeria's Vice President Kashimu Shettima was set to travel to the state to meet officials and parents on Wednesday.
And that's about what we had time for in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we go, here's a reminder of the headlines. Pope Leo XIV urges the faithful to give voice to the voiceless. Government to borrow 76 billion Malawi kwacha for M1 continuing rehabilitation. Government moves to tighten security amid rising illegal firearm concerns. And in other news, gunmen attack church in Nigeria, killing 2 and kidnapping others. My name is Tandy Wemzamara. Thank you for keeping me company, and continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye for now.
Kampani ya maulendo a ndege ya Malawi Airline.
Words of life, words of hope, give us strength, help us cope in this world where'er we roam.
Welcome all, you are watching Luntha TV. Today is Wednesday, 33rd week in ordinary time. Our readings will take from the second book of Maccabees. In those days, it happened also that 7 brothers and their mother were arrested and were being compiled by the king, under torture with whips and cords, to partake of unlawful swine's flesh. The mother was especially admirable and worthy of honorable memory. Though she saw her 7 sons perish within a single day, she bore it with good courage because of her hope in the Lord. She encouraged each of them in the language of their fathers. Filled with a noble spirit, she fired her woman's reasoning with a man's courage, and said to them, I do not know how you came into being in my womb. It was not I who gave you life and breath, nor I who set in order the elements within each of you. Therefore, the Creator of the world, who shaped the beginning of man and advised the origin of all things, will in his mercy give life and breath back to you again. Since you now forget yourselves for the sake of his laws. Antiochus felt that he was being treated with contempt, and he was suspicious